Is news, or should I say accurate news, is accurate news non-rivalrous? I believe it is, right? So we can annotate and tick this, right? Accurate news is indeed non-rivalrous. And we know it's non-rivalrous, right? Because we know that, in the current world of modern sort of technology, um, let's say, modern tech, technology and global, should we say, kind of like um, widespread access. Um, you know, it is possible for news to be, displayed and, broadcast across a very wide range of networks. So we know that we know it can be spread across a very, very wide range of networks, right? And that's in the current world of modern technology and widespread access. We know that we know that it can be spread across an incredibly wide range of networks. And therefore, and we also know, that one person's consumption of the news will not at all limit another person's consumption, right? So that's the first kind of like key point there, right? We know that one person's consumption of the news will not at all limit another person's consumption. So that's the first like major key point. I think in terms of other things to look at, we can also see now I'm going to move this one up here. It gets slightly more interesting now, and I'm going to give you a second to think about it. This, I think, is very interesting. And I think this really has a big, this has a big question mark next to it. Is accurate news, and this is something for you to think about for the essay, right? Before we can proceed to answering the question of, should it follow that state media is funded or accurate news is funded by state taxation. Before we reach that point, we have to verify, is accurate news not excludable? Is it not excludable? Now, I think there are two sides to this argument. And this is where, however you word your essay, will become very critical. Okay. This is really however you word your essay will become incredibly critical. Because really, it can definitely be excludable in this case. It's definitely possible that it could be excludable. We can even think of some examples right now, right? So, so we have to think very carefully about our logic here. So let's do example one first. Example one is state, let's say example one. Okay, so the first thing to really think about of non-excludability is think about online paywall. Okay. It is possible for a firm to publish news, but you have to pay a monthly subscription to have access to it. For example, the Financial Times, aka the FT, probably one of the most famous news sources in the world, costs money to use. It costs specifically, it doesn't just cost money, right? It costs private sector sales, right? It is sold to the private sector and the private sector has to pay. So that immediately is a form of excludability.